I always, each day, try to keep this pertinent point in the forefront of my mind, and especially having the favor of the God of the Genesis creation, the God of the universe, to work in Berlin in the area of geopolitical diplomacy, where when you mention the Creator, they normally try to dismiss because they don't want anything as they identify as the Creator in the midst of the conversation. I remember being challenged in Germany in terms of the position of the Creator. And the Germans are very, very straight to what they feel is their reality. So if you can't see it, if you can't touch it, it doesn't exist. And I remember coming off the dais one time, and I was approached by a German to say that you're talking this stuff about, you keep on talking about the Creator God, because I still live in Israel, and it doesn't exist. And just in the moment, I asked the same person who challenged me, can you put your hand in front of your mouth? And they looked at me quizzically, because this was a high statesman conference. And they looked, and then they put their hand in front of their mouth. And I said, can you blow on your hand? And they blew some air on their hand. And then I asked them the question, did you feel something? They said, yes. I said, did you see what touched your hand? No. I said, the fact that you did not see it does not mean it did not exist, because you felt it. So, on this great day, I first would like to give all honor and praise to the God of the heavens and earth that allowed me once again to wake up this morning, because everything else would be of no consequence. And the greatest blessing that anybody has upon the universe is that the Creator of the heavens and earth allows you to wake up. Everything else is just a follow-up. If you do not wake up, there are many who didn't make it this morning. So I'm not abashed or ashamed to wear the Creator's glory on my sleeve. Amen. Not from a religious standpoint, but for the fact that I exist. I am thankful to give all praises to that creative force, and to all men and women of goodwill who are seeking to establish the principles which govern the entire universe by the same source for all human beings. I definitely greet each and every one of you in peace. I'm thankful to the Universal Peace Federation for this award. It just means that there's more responsibility, you know. And they say to those that much is given, much is expected. So we only live for one thing. And I'm very mindful of the changed leadership. And I think I think two speakers actually made a reference, extracting the historical narrative of the Bible from its religiosity back into its social reality. So, in changed leadership, we've got to be very, very cognizant that the Bible did not start with a church and a building. It started with science. And the greatest of all science is the Word of God, or the Word of the Creator. It's men who have belittled it. But the Bible started with the creation of science. With the creation of science. And if we put that and we put this in place, then it all makes sense. It all makes a lot of sense. I hate shocking people, but if you consider the creations, then I won't be too long-winded. And I love it. I would recommend, there's a book out, it's called, I think, Welcome to the Universal Sign. I love it because if you look at the concept of the creations, we really don't fit into it. And The furthest star away from the Earth is 13.3 billion light years away. 13.3 billion light years away. Light years. The concept of light years is a light second is 186,000 miles. That's a light second. Pluto is just 4.5 light hours away from the sun. So 13.3 billion light years away. There's no calculator made on Earth that can actually calculate that on a normal calculator. And with the James Webb telescope, it's now located. The furthest galaxy is 28 billion light years away. So in closing, we would like to put everything in context. And I'm going to do something that you're quite familiar with. And most probably you've said it so many times, but we're going to just close this. We can always sow sacred seeds or seeds of truth. There's one thing that you're not trying to convince anyone, but you're trying to sow seeds, because seeds take time to germinate in its season and its time. The pear seed does not germinate in the same cycle as the orange seed or the olive seed. But we must go forth to sow seeds, not to convince someone, but to sow seeds enough, which in the nature of the seed, it has the regenerative power to give life or to give inspiration. So let's leave out of here with this humbling award, sowing a seed and extracting it from its religiosity and putting it back in place. So I'm going to go on to Psalm 23, which many of you have heard before. But I'm going to sow the seed as Psalm 23 must be. And it's called the shepherd-lamb relationship. Because everybody upon the face of this earth has to have somebody who inspires them or who leads them. Only a fool has himself as a teacher. Everyone has someone who teaches. And as we've come here, we come because one man was bold enough to take the principles of the universe and inspire others, Reverend Moon, the 11th ascension. And actually, it's very coincidental because he made his ascension on the 29th of August. On the 29th of December, my spiritual leader, Ben Israel, made his ascension 3 years later. On the 29th of July, my physical biological father in 2003 made his ascension. And these aren't coincidences. They're normally called synchronicity, parallel things. These events, they speak to you a certain way. So you always hear, the Lord is my shepherd. Not anybody else, but the Lord is my shepherd. And it sounds like it's a religious statement, but it's not. Because if you make the Lord your shepherd, then the next line becomes consistent. Then you shall not, and the Hebrew says, it's not you shall not want. You're always going to have wants. But in the Hebrew it says, if you make the Lord your shepherd, you allow the Lord to become your shepherd. That's the truth and the embodiment. You shall not lack. Because the shepherd always takes care of the sheep. It's the shepherd then that makes you to lie down in green pastures, not the sheep. It's the duty of the shepherd, ambassadors of peace, or those who take that responsibility, that should guide humanity to lie down in green pastures. Not blue, not red, green pastures. It's the shepherd's responsibility to lead you beside still waters. Still waters, for those here and again, the body is 80% water. So most of the anxiety on the world comes because the calibration of the water in the body is agitated, so you're anxious. So it's not just the still waters out there, but you yourself being able to have a state of calm inside you. And it's the shepherd that restores your soul. The duty of the shepherd is to lead you in the paths of truth, or the paths of righteousness. In Hebrew, it's called b'maglesedek, in the cycles of regenerative life for the shepherd's namesake. Now, once the shepherd does his duty, then it comes then to the sheep. The sheep has got so much social benefit, existential benefit from the shepherd. So the sheep is able to say with confidence, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, Based on my shepherd, I will fear no evil. For my shepherd and his teachings are with me. All the things he's guided me, they comfort me. Servant leadership is the shepherd that prepares the table before me in the presence of adversity. Is the shepherd who anoints my head with oil, gives me wisdom, and calls me to be abundantly fulfilled. And the sheep acknowledges. As such, surely, not badness, goodness, and favor, mercy, shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the shepherd, or under the guidance of the shepherd forever. There has to be another paradigm of leadership. There has to be another time for humanity to exist. And the shepherd must take their responsibilities, not to be the boss, but to be the servant leaders once again, extraordinary, as an ambassador of peace. Thank you very much.